Colorado High School Activities Association Baseball is on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com this afternoon from Sunset Baseball Field in Brush. It's a Patriot League clash as the visiting Valley Vikings take on the Brush Bee Diggers. Along with the head coach of the Bee Diggers the previous 4 seasons, Kevin Fergus, I'm John Beltran. Coach, I guess it's fitting, Kevin, that you're joining me for this particular game. You'll take us through the play-by-play in innings 3 and 4 as well, because this was, if I remember correctly, your last victory as head coach when Ryan Dunker threw that complete game in 2018.
That is true. Ryan pitched a real nice game that day, and that was the final win for 2018. This team that is on the field today has lots of promise, and I like what I've seen so far throughout the season. And it's going to be exciting to see what they do today.
Well, there's no doubt it's a young squad, but they are off to a 3-2 start now. They played yesterday as they lost in Eaton to the Reds by a score of 10-5. Carson Rule will be the starting pitcher today for the Bee Diggers. Let's get to the starting lineup for the visiting Valley Vikings. We'll get into them momentarily. Batting first, the shortstop, Servando Perez. Jacob Miles, the right fielder, hits second. Tyler Kistler, the catcher, bats third. The cleanup hitter is the first baseman, Ty Stotts. Dominic Triana, the third baseman, hits fifth. Batting sixth, the pitcher, Jason Garcia. The designated hitter, Brandon Blanco, hits seventh. Eli Knowles, the center fielder, hits eighth. And Jesus Villalobos will be batting ninth. He is playing left field. For the Bee Diggers defensively, Bryson Wooldridge at first. The second baseman is Braxton Shelton. Ben Garrett at third, Nick Wellens at short. Around the outfield, Caden Schwinton left. The center fielder is Alejandro Maltos Garcia, Eli Garcilaso in right. Behind the plate is Hunter Ludgate, and on the mound, Carson Rule, who threw a very good game this year against Faith Christian. Very good game. Unfortunately, the Bee Diggers could not hold that lead. Opening pitch is brought to you by Buildings by Design. When it comes to experience, Buildings by Design is the best in the business. Quality, commitment, and experience
Vikings, number 14,
makes Buildings by Design the only choice when it comes to your next project. That is Buildings by Design. Here comes the right-handed hitting Servando Perez with a start time of 4:04, and the first pitch for the lefty is right there for a strike on the inside corner at the knees. And it is 0-1. This team has dropped off. They won the state championship 2 years ago, a 500 team last year, because they did bring back their all-state pitcher, Jose Mercado, but he's graduated. Now the count is at 1-1. Swung on. That is popped up down the line. On the left side, the third baseman, Garrett, giving chase along with Wellen and Schwint, but it's out of play. And it is 1-2 strikes. Yeah, the one thing with Carson Rule, he's going to pound the strike zone. He's going to come right after you. His strike-to-ball ratio was pretty good in that first game against Faith Christian.
Yeah, he was approaching 68%, I think, throwing strikes in that game against Faith Christian.
Yeah, that made a huge difference. The pitch swung on, that is popped up on the right side. The second baseman, Braxton Shelton, to his right, makes the two-handed grab. And there is one down here in the top of the first inning.
Bat, number 2, Jacob Miles.
Valley has 3 wins on the season. They are 3-2. They really struggled. I saw them in that Hampton Inn Classic from La Junta. They lost 11-1 to La Junta. The fastball's down and in. 1 no strikes to Jacob Miles. Boy, a nice sunny day here makes it tough to look at the screen here, even find some of the names. Swung on and fouled to the backstop, and the count is level at 1 strike. So both teams with the same records, but Valley had a lot of trouble that day last Saturday in that game against La Junta. A lot of errors from the infield. The fastball is upstairs. Ball 2, strike 1. John Beltran with Kevin Fergus. We're in the top of the first inning, just underway. Wind and pitch, swing and a miss, threw it right by Jacob Miles, and the count is level at 2-2.
That was one thing I noticed just looking at the box scores for Valley is just aside from their first game against Fort Lupton, every game they've had either 3 or 4 errors every game. So,
and a called strike 3 on the breaking ball, and Carson Rule freezes Miles, and there's 2 down.
Bat, number 5, Tyler Kistler.
Yeah, and what I saw, Kevin, on the left side of the infield, that's where they just were making mistakes. They could have kept that at bay, but instead it was a 10-0 game after 2. And I believe they lost in 6, 11-1 to La Junta. But I'm telling you, 3A is wide open. The pitch down and in. I know University's number 1 at 7-0. But Fort Morgan gave them a tough game, and Fort Morgan had to use 3 pitchers in that game. And the pitch. That's a strike right there on the inner half to Tyler Kistler. Boy, that name Kistler seems to be around for a while with the Valley program. Of course, Steve Kistler, the championship head coach from 2 years ago, fouled straight back. Count at 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, you got all these ranked teams out of the Patriot League. University, Sterling, Eaton right there in the top 3. And the 1-2. And the breaking ball is inside. Count moves to 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here to the right-handed hitting Tyler Kistler. Laying down the sign is Ludgate, and the offering. Swung on and popped foul and out of play. So, Kevin, what about these new brush jerseys here for 2019? A different look.
They're really fresh. I think on the road they've got the white jerseys with
right.
The maroon lettering, and here at home they've got the gold jerseys with the maroon lettering and accents, and it's really nice. I like it.
Swung on and lifted to left field. Caden Schwint is back, reaches up, and it's gone. Just over the left center field fence between the bleachers that have been placed out there. And Valley's got a 1-0 lead on a home run from Tyler Kistler.
Tyler Kistler is a good-sized kid. He's real strong. I saw him on the basketball floor, and he was a guard, and he just manhandled everybody that he played against. And
when you can handle the ball and you have size, I mean,
yep,
that's
absolutely.
And that time he golfed that pitch out there. I didn't think it was a bad pitch there from Rule, but he was able to pull his hands in and just loft it out to left center field, and it didn't leave by much. But it's a home run, and here's another big, strong guy in Ty Stotts. The pitch. That's a fastball for a strike on the inner half. It's 0-1. B&B Appliance can help you with all of your appliance needs. B&B Appliance on Ensign Street in Fort Morgan. And the pitch swung on that has popped up on the right side into foul territory. Bryson Wooldridge along the line now drifting into fair territory makes the catch. And Valley is retired here in the first inning. However, they get a home run from Tyler Kistler. Valley 1. And the Bead Diggers are coming to bat. It's a 60-second break on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Bead Digger starting lineup brought to you by Equitable Savings and Loan. Mobile banking on the go makes banking easier for you when you're on the go. Check them out today. Equitable Savings and Loan. Wow. Unreal. The wind kicked up. How many times have we said that over the last, how many years? 1-0 in favor of Valley and a home run by Tyler Kistler. Carson Rule bats first. The second hitter is Braxton Shelton. Batting third is Nick Wellen. Ben Garrett is the cleanup hitter.
What's a bat?
Hondo.
Number 24.
That's fifth. That's Alejandro Matos Garcia.
Carson.
Bryson
Rule.
Wooldridge at 6. Hunter Ludgate is the 7th hitter. Eli Garcilaso bats 8th. And Caden Schwint will be batting 9th. We'll set up the defense here momentarily for Valley. The pitcher is the right-hander Jason Garcia. And the pitch. And that is a strike. Kind of slides that in there with almost a 3/4 delivery. Ty Stotts at first. The second baseman is Izzy Gutierrez. Servando Perez at short. Dominic Triana at third. And the 0-1. And that's a strike. Yeah, very smooth delivery. Not necessarily over the top. It's 0-2. Jesus Villalobos in left. Eli Knowles in center. Jacob Miles in right. Behind the plate is Tyler Kistler, speaking of the guy who homered. And the 0-2 pitch. That is just outside. Well located by Garcia. And the count is at 1-2 to Carson Rule. And the offering upstairs with a fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. awaits the pitch, hitting .231 going into the game outside. It is 3-2, and that's the one thing, especially with a pitch count. Coach Fergus only had to worry about the pitch count for 3 of the 4 years. The first year, pitch count was not in effect. 3-2 pitch. That is a called strike 3 right there. I thought he thought it was ball 4, but that looked pretty good from here on the outer half at the knees, and there's one down. Yeah, I'm surprised he took that. That looked like an excellent pitch.
It looked like a pitch
Now
that he should have been at least
Second
trying to
baseman,
foul that off.
Number 18, Braxton Shelton.
Here's the freshman Braxton Shelton. A couple of hits yesterday and a sac bunt. Having a very good season for the Bee Diggers. Tearing it up, hitting .533. And the pitch, and that's up and in. And again, for those who don't know Braxton, don't be fooled by his size. He's got major crank on that bat. He can really drive the baseball.
And just with the day today, the wind's blowing out to left field just a little bit. That might have helped Kistler's ball be able to just inch it over left field fence. And so I think anything that's hit probably to left center field could have a chance. Left to left center field.
And the pitch swung on. That is driven down the line, and that's going to be a base hit into left field. A solid base hit there for Braxton Shelton on a 1-0 pitch.
Now up to bat.
And he continues to increase
number
that
21,
average.
Nick Wellen.
Here's Nick Wellen, a guy with some power as well. I believe he homered once or twice last year.
He did, and he's got pretty good strength all the way from his lower body all the way up.
Took something off of that. The pitch is a strike. Man, is this number right? Hitting over 600.
I think he went 4 for 4 yesterday.
Yeah.
At Eaton.
And the pitch swung on. It hit slowly on the ground. The third baseman, Triana, has to give way to the shortstop. Long throw to first is going to be in time. And thrown out is going to be Wellen on an excellent play by Servando Perez. Moving up to second is Shelton. Boy, I thought with the balls
Now
hit
to bat. Third baseman.
slowly that it was going to be a tough
15,
play, but he made it
Ben
fairly routine.
Garrett.
And again, we were talking about the left side of the infield that struggled here for Valley. And as you mentioned, Kevin, all the errors that it committed early on. The pitch to Garrett is low. 1 ball and no strikes. Ben Garrett, another big, strong hitter for Brush. The stretch by Perez. Valley leads 1-0 in the first. The pitch swung on, grounded slowly left side in the hole. Perez, he sets, he throws, and Garrett is out. And the Bee Diggers are done in the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. And 1 man left, 1 complete. We head to the second. It is Valley 1, Brush nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
Up to bat.
Let's
Number
head to the
1,
second inning. John
Dominic
Beltran along with
Triana.
Kevin Fergus. Where Valley leads 1-0 on a home run by Tyler Kistler with 2 down in the first inning. And here's the left-handed hitting third baseman, Dominic Triana. Lefty against lefty, the pitch. And that is a strike. Took something off that on the outer half. It's 0-1. 5, 6, and 7 for Valley. In the top of the second inning, the pitch down and away. Yeah, all last year I thought Ryan Dunker was throwing changeups, and he said, no, those are all fastballs. You know, he just had variations of the fastball. Sometimes it's tough to tell based on the way somebody swings, and even with Carson Rule, he can amp it up a little bit more, and then as he throws that one in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike.
One thing with Ryan Dunker, he did not have a curveball.
Right.
We tried to show him a curveball, I don't know how many times.
Yeah,
And,
but he was still
but he
effective.
survived because he was always around the zone.
And that is a strike. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He was definitely good to be able to get through twice through the order.
Swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and Triana strikes out. Strikeout number 2 for Carson Rule. And there is 1 down.
And then once he started through the third time through the order, then we needed to be on alert, unless he was definitely on and his ball was moving.
Right. Here's Jason Garcia, the pitcher. And that's a ball. It is 1-0. Here's the stretch and offering, or the windup, I should say, and it's a strike. Although I did see a left-hander for Roosevelt yesterday, a 6'6 guy, Dominic Puccino, and he operated out of the stretch exclusively. He's our number one pitcher for Roosevelt. Swung on and lifted on the left side. The left fielder, Caden Schwinn, coming in, and he makes the grab for the out, and there's 2 down. Nearly hit a no man's land, but it had enough trajectory.
Now to bat, number 21, Brandon Blanco.
And now, I don't know if you can see now what I go through when that ball's hit up there someday, just to locate the ball. Especially on a bright, sunny day, you got to watch these fielders converge on the baseball. Here's Brandon Blanco, and the breaking ball is up and away. 1 ball and no strikes. 1-0 Valley. We're in the second.
Yeah, I was following Nick well on the shortstop on that, just to see where he was going to settle, if he was going to be able to settle underneath that or not. But the ball had enough carry. I think that wind, just enough to be able to just get it to the outfield.
Yeah, and
to where the left fielder would be able to take care of it.
Yeah, the pitch was inside 2-0. Swing and a miss on a tailing fastball. Yeah, and you look at the shortstop, too. Is he backpedaling or is he just running back? Is he taking a lateral step, so to speak? And that time he was kind of turning around. Swing and a miss. Out in front of that was Blanco. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Carson Rule looking for a 1-2-3 inning, as he was trying to do in the first inning when Kistler hit the home run over the left center field fence. The senior left-hander kicks and delivers. Swing and a miss, and he strikes out Blanco. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Carson Rule. Let's head to the bottom of the second. It is Valley 1, Brush nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 1-0 in favor of Valley as we head to the bottom of the second
Now
inning.
to bat, center fielder, number 12, Alejandro Maltos Garcia.
That is the voice of Evan James. He's the public address announcer, the freshman today. He'll still join us throughout the course of the season. Here is Hondo stepping in for Brush. The pitch down and away. Hondo labored through 5 innings yesterday, kept his team in the game in a 10-5 loss to Eaton, and a 1-0 way outside. And that's the one thing Hondo will be working on. You get older, turn into more of a pitcher, less of a thrower. You walk fewer, and, 2 balls and no strikes. And the pitch inside. 3-0 to Alejandro Maltos Garcia. Following the tradition of the 12s. I believe both brothers wore 12. I know Baby wore 12. The pitch down and away, and it's a walk on 4 pitches to Hondo to begin the bottom of the second inning. And that'll send up Hunter Ludgate.
First baseman, number 10, Bryson Woldridge.
Oh, check that. I must have had it wrong on my... Oh, that is Woldridge. Yeah, Ludgate is on deck. Woldridge hitting .236, squaring to bunt. And the pitch. And he lays it down beautifully on the right side. There's going to be no play. Miscommunication there. And throw back to second, back in there. Is going to be, wow.
Now to bat, your
take it easy
catcher,
on the music. It's
number
Hondo.
4, Hunter Ludgate.
Well, that's just emblematic of some of the issues, Kevin, that they've had defensively, because that was just either a missed assignment or miscommunication.
That was a gift, most definitely.
Now Ludgate is squaring to bunt, and he lays it out right in front of the plate, fielded by the pitcher Garcia, second baseman covering, and that'll go 1-4 on the sacrifice, that is.
Batting for the Beachers.
And there's 1 down.
Right fielder, number 27, Eli Garcilaso.
So the runners advance.
I just was looking at the grade of their second baseman, and he is a sophomore. So I'm not sure if that name is familiar with me, and I'm just thinking this is probably a first-year starter. So that was just a missed assignment where he just didn't get over to the bag.
I don't recognize Izzy Gutierrez. Swing and a miss. Garcilaso looked out of sync completely on that swing. He was spinning around in the batter's box. No balls and 1 strike. And they're playing in at the corners and back in the middle. Second and third, 1 out the pitch. And that is down and away. 1-1. At third is Maltos Garcia. Woldridge at second. 1-0 Valley here in the bottom of the second inning. The wind by the right-hander and the pitch. Up and in. Ball 2, strike 1. Caden Schwint waits to hit next. Laying down the sign is Kistler. And the offering outside. 12 balls and 10 strikes thrown by Garcia, so he's got his struggles here early on, even though he's got a 1-0 lead in the second. And Caden Schwint waits to hit next. And the 3-1 pitch. That's a strike on the inside corner. That's a very well located at the knees, and it's 3-2. The lone run on a home run by Tyler Kistler in the top of the first inning.
Let's see if Eli gets a good pitch here in order to be able to put bat on ball.
Well, here you got to shorten up that swing a little bit, just short to the ball. Wind and pitch. Swung on and chopped slowly right out in front of the plate. And in between second or third and home is Matos Garcia. He's in a rundown, and they're going to tag him out. That's going to go 1-5-2. Advancing to third is Wooldridge. That'll be scored, obviously, a fielder's choice. And there's 2 down. Well, he put the ball in play, but unfortunately not enough
Now it's a bat. Your left fielder, number 14.
to get the run home.
Caden Schwint.
Here's Caden Schwint, the left fielder. Now running at first will be Ivan Cardenas for Garcilaso. So you got a senior at third and a freshman at first base. And this is the number 9 hitter in the lineup. Crystal clear ice, good for any drink, any time of year. AC Ice at any local grocery or convenience store near you. The pitch, swinging a foul to the backstop.
That was a nice-looking swing by Caden. I know he's been doing a lot of work in the cage, and he's going to be able to be a good, productive ball player for Brush in the years to come. He just needs to get some confidence and see if he can put some wood on the ball right here.
Especially when you're a young player. And the 0-1 pitch. And that is low. Runner going to second. The throw's going to be cut off and off the glove of the shortstop, but it's going to be backed up there by Gutierrez. Wooldridge did not take off. He might have had a shot there, but nonetheless a stolen base and 2 runners in scoring position. 1 ball and 1 strike. 2 down, 1-0 Valley. Out of the windup with runners at second and third is Jason Garcia. The pitch outside off the glove of Tyler Kistler. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. And the offering swung on and fouled back. And here's the other sign where you grow up, Kevin, learning to hit with 2 strikes, especially when you're young. You know, he kind of shook his head there. I think he thought he had the pitch. But now he's got to overcome that. 1 ball and 2 strikes. It says 2 and 2 on the board, but I got 1 and 2. The offering, swing and a miss on a fastball down the middle. And the Beat Diggers are held off the scoreboard in the bottom of the second inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 2 men left. To the third we go. Valley 1, Brush nothing on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
Welcome back to Sunset Field. This is Kevin, and we'll be doing the third and the fourth innings and just seeing how this works.
Now it's Valley Vikings.
Hey, you've been a player, you've been a coach,
Knowles.
you've been an analyst. You can pull this off as Eli Knowles steps in for Valley. 1-0 Valley. In the
Eli
third.
Knowles is number 8 in the lineup. He's a junior, and he's playing center field. I've got Carson Rule for 29 pitches and looks like about 20 strikes. So he's right at that 2/3. Pitch comes in, and Knowles pops it up down the right field line towards the fence, and Bryson Wooldridge gets underneath it and hauls it in for the first out of the
Number
inning.
3, Jesus Velasquez.
I thought that was going out of play.
I think that wind is just enough in order to be able to pull that back in, and I think that's what that did on that one. It just seemed like it just curved right back onto the field. Number 9 hitter, Jesus Villalobos. He is the left fielder. He's a junior, number 3 for Valley. First pitch was a ball. Second pitch was a ball. That was low. (2-0) the count. Center cut, Carson Rule right down the middle. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, he doesn't throw back-to-back-to-back balls too much. Carson's around the plate.
Carson's pitch was in the dirt, bounces off towards the dugout. You're right, Carson is always around the plate. I mean, he's just consistent. He's small, he's compact, and he just has a nice arm angle, being able to throw, and something that can be easily replicated. Strike. Brings the count to a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to number 9 hitter Jesus Villalobos. Villalobos hits that pitch right back to Carson Rule. He fields his position well. Looks like he's been doing his PFPs. Gets it over to first base, and that's out number 2 in the inning.
Servando.
Yeah, he was square. A lot of pitchers you see, Kevin, they're not very square when they field. Sometimes their body's angled one way or the other, but he was square to the hitter, and there's 2 down.
So that brings up the top of the order, Servando Perez. He popped out to Braxton Shelton at second base last time. Carson threw a nice curveball to start Servando off right there. Dropped right into the zone, and Servando was out on his front foot. The pitch just a little bit outside. Second time through the lineup, you end up working these batters maybe just a little bit different than you did the first time.
Absolutely.
And we'll see what Carson does here. Servando takes that pitch. It was an inside pitch, and he hit it right down the left field line. Foul down towards the fence.
All right, maybe I'm an idiot. I'm just noticing that now. They added that fence this year, didn't they, in front of the brush dugout? Or did they add fences on both sides? They haven't always
both
had
sides.
that there. Yeah,
both
okay.
sides. That's been something that we've been asking for some time. And Carson Rule strikes out Servando. Perez.
So it's
for the third out in the inning.
Yeah, you did better than I did the first time. You still got an inning and a half to go, play-by-play. 1, 2, 3 there for Carson Rule. Let's head to the bottom of the third. In brush. On a home run by Tyler Kissler, Valley retains a 1-0 lead on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
And we're back to Sunset Field. Jason Garcia throws the first pitch to top of the order, Carson Rule. It's a ball on the outside part of the plate. That's pitch number 29 for Garcia. There's pitch number 30, and that was a ball in the dirt in the left-sided batter's box. So 2-0 to Carson. And that one's up over Carson's head. Looks like Jason has come out. He's got that 3/4, and it's not really a full extension, but He's got a 3/4 pitch. And sometimes if you're just a little bit off and you start to aim, you end up having a 4-pitch walk where Carson gets on base that way. So that's exactly what happened.
Well, he threw 32
Number
pitches up to
18,
this point,
Braxton
17 balls
Shelton.
and 15 strikes. And now he's facing one of the 2 brush hitters who's got a base hit in this game.
Yeah, Braxton had a base hit his first time up down the left field line. Ball high. Braxton has a good eye.
1-0 Valley in the third on a home run by Tyler Kissler in the first inning.
Carson Rule gets his lead at first. The pitch. Ball hit to the shortstop. Out at second and safe at first. So we got a fielder's choice to the shortstop. Servando Perez, and he gets it over to the second baseman.
Number 21, Nick Wellen.
That wasn't Brandon Block.
Yeah,
Second baseman.
Perez to Izzy Gutierrez.
Gutierrez. And that brings up Nick Wellen. That's a foul ball down the left field line.
Yeah, he got that pitch down and in and just laced it.
Nick's got really quick hands.
When
When we'd be throwing batting practice to him, of course, we're not throwing 85.
Right.
But there was a lot of times he'd be hitting them out into the left field corner and up and over the fence. So he's got a lot of strength and can yank that ball out of here. That pitch was up and away, so that evens a count. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The ones are wild, as they say, Kevin. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on.
Pitch inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Braxton's getting a good lead down there at first base. one out, you want to be on your toes, make sure there's not a line drive hit someplace to where they double you off. And the way Nick can hit the ball, sometimes that can happen. Jason Garcia throws over to first base just to make sure that Braxton's staying close. I think that was probably a good thing, just because he seemed like he was inching off just a little bit further. He's got a really good lead over at first base. The pitch. Nick fouls that off down the left field line. Didn't get too much elevation on that. I think it was on the ground all the way. But I think Nick is seeing the ball really well. He went 4 for 4 yesterday at Eaton. And he even hit the Ure kid that had been striking out just about 2 out of 3.
Yeah,
and Nick had a base hit off him, and as well as a couple other base hits in that 7th inning. There's a nice base hit to center field by Nick. Nick stroking the ball really well. Braxton moves up to second. Nick to first base, and that'll bring up Ben Garrett.
That's the third hit for Brush.
Third baseman, number
And
15, Ben Garrett.
Nice job of timing that out. He waited until the last possible moment there to hit that straight away. They always think, you think center field there, especially when you have 2 strikes.
One out, runners on first and second. Ben Garrett, number 4 hitter. Junior for Brush, third baseman. Pitch on the outside corner for a strike.
Yeah, I don't think you want Ben Garrett to pull the ball if you're Valley, because that could go a long way.
Ben's a real strong boy, and he gets he doesn't get cheated on his swings, that's for sure. That pitch just up and in on Ben.
Yeah, but I think he might have ruled that a foul ball off the tip of the bat. Did he? It says 1-1 on the board.
I think that was coming from Coach Kistler over from Valley's dugout.
Got
I think that's where that was coming from. I don't think that was the umpire.
Yep.
I think Ben got down underneath that pitch.
Yeah, he did.
Pitch from Garcia is down and away. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Yeah, really struggling with his control. 22 balls and 20 strikes.
Ben hits a flare out to center field. It's not far enough for the center fielder to be able to get to. And just because everybody had to hold to make sure that ball was going to be able to get down, center fielder comes in on it, picks it up, gets it to the second baseman, Izzy Gutierrez, for the second out. Braxton Shelton moves up to third, and Ben moves up to first
Now
base.
Number 12,
So we got runners at
Maltos Garcia.
first and third with 2 outs. That's Brush's 4th hit on the day.
Well, it actually turns into a fielder's choice since Welland he misread it completely there. I think Nick thought it was going to be caught, and that was an easy force at second. He was out by several feet, unfortunately.
That brings up Hondo Maltos Garcia. He walked last time up on 4 pitches. That pitch right there was down and in, so that's ball 1.
And the go-ahead run.
2 outs. This would be good. Get the runners moving and see if we can get something happening. Ball's hit to shortstop Servando Perez. He gets it over to Izzy Gutierrez for the 3rd out, and Brush ends up with no runs on 2 hits and 2 runners left.
All right, we have played 3 innings with the score. Valley 1 and the Bead Diggers nothing. We'll come back for the 4th inning in 1 minute on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
To Jacob Miles.
Here we are back at Sunset Field. Beautiful day, probably 58 degrees for afternoon start, and we start the top of the 4th inning with Jacob Miles, number 2 hitter for Valley, the Valley Vikings, and Carson Rule has his first pitch, and it's inside for ball 1.
Valley leads 1-0. A first inning home run by Tyler Kistler is held up.
That ball was nubbed out to Braxton Shelton at second base. Braxton comes charging in, picks up the ball across his body and over to Wooldridge for the first out. That was a nice play by Braxton to be able to recognize that it wouldn't hit that hard in order to still get there and get enough on the ball to get the out at first base. And that brings up Ty Kistler. Hit the home run the last time up.
I threw that pitch down and in for a strike there on the inside corner. Trying to jam him as much as possible, but that's almost the same spot he hit the home run in the first inning.
Ty Kistler's a big, strong boy, and he's been a catcher for Valley. This is his 4th year, and he's been catching every single year. And he was a catcher in that year. They won the state championship 2 years ago. He fouls that off to the back behind, and the count is 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I got Carson at 46 pitches right here.
That's exactly what I have him as well, John.
Ooh.
That was a nice pitch. Carson had a little bit of a bender on that. Looked like maybe it was a slider on the outside corner of the plate, and
I thought it was the
umpire might have
outside
been fooled by it.
Yes.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Ty Kistler. And Ty Kistler swings. Next pitch was a little bit high, but he didn't hit it as far over to left field as he did the last time, but he hit it probably the same distance. He hit it to center field. Center fielder Hondo Maltos Garcia had to move maybe about 8 steps to his right towards left center in order to be able to catch that. We've got 2 outs. That brings up Ty Stotts. Ty Stotts is a big, lumbering first baseman for Valley. Carson throws a curveball. First pitch strike, drops in.
Beautiful pitch.
Second pitch to Stotts was low in the dirt. Hunter Ledgate does a nice job behind the plate in order to block those pitches in the dirt. Does a nice job communicating with the pitchers and receiving the ball well. Stotts hits the next pitch, 2-hopper to Wellen at short, deep short. He gets it over to Woldridge at first for the out, and that was a 1-2-3 inning for Brush.
All right, 3.5 complete. And the score, Valley 1, Brush nothing. This is 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
Now to bat, number 10, Bryson Woldridge.
Bryson Woldridge will be leading off for the Brush Beat Diggers in the bottom of the 4th inning. Brush is down 1-0 on Ty Kistler's home run in the first inning. That's held up to this point. It's a quick game. Jason Garcia with a pitch. Bryson Woldridge fouls it down the third baseline, goes foul. Count is 0-1 to Bryson.
He was a little bit out in front of that one. That little dribbler that just couldn't paint the line there would have been nice. But now the third baseman, Triana, is on the edge of the grass.
Garcia with a pitch. Woldridge gets a nice cut on that. Fouls it back straight to the fence. Bryson's down in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
Fill up your cooler, gas up your car. Stubbs Gas and Oil, easy and convenient. Make them the only stop on your way to the big game. Stubbs Gas and Oil.
Garcia with a pitch, and again, that 3/4, if you're not right on time, that ball sailed, was up in the zone. 1 ball, 2 strike. Not a bad pitch. I mean, sometimes you want to throw that pitch away just to give the batter something else to look at. But he comes back with the 4th pitch of the at-bat, and Ty Kistler, the catcher, he had to move to his right quite a bit in order to be able to pick that ball up. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bryson Woldridge. The pitch. Woldridge gets pretty good wood on that, hits to right field, right fielder. He gets underneath the ball, and he pulls that in. Right fielder is Jacob Miles.
That was good contact by Woldridge, but Miles was on the beat there and was able to flag it down, as you
Now
mentioned.
to bat, the catcher, number 4, Hunter Ludgate.
I think the wind, probably as that was going to right field, it probably held it up just enough for Miles to be able to run underneath it. Garcia with a pitch to Hunter Ludgate. It's low and inside. 1 ball, no strikes to number 4, junior catcher for Brush Beat Diggers. Hunter gets a pretty good cut at the next pitch, but fouls it straight back. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
He's not scared of the plate. I mean, Ludgate is on top of the plate. He is right there. Look at that back foot.
That pitch from Garcia was on the inner half, and Hunter didn't pull the trigger, but it was a strike.
I don't know how he's not out of the box. He's very close.
Looked like Garcia threw an off-speed pitch right there. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That pitch was to the outer half of the plate. Kistler, the catcher, was able to slide over and receive it well. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Ludgate, the pitch. Ball's high. Full count.
Yeah, I'm almost stunned that he's still in the box. That right foot is almost on the inside corner. Hitting with that open stance.
The pitch from Garcia. Right down the middle. I think it had a little bit of action to where it moved right to left, but it looked like it was a good enough pitch in order to be able to swing.
Like Garcilaso.
But,
Number 6,
Hunter
Ivan
Ludgate goes
Cardenas.
down with a backward K. That's the 3rd strikeout for Brush on the day.
Yep, and 2 of them are looking.
Brings up Ivan Cardenas, the right fielder. He filled in for Eli Garcilaso after Eli ended up hitting into a fielder's choice in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Ivan hits the ball to 3rd base, and that came off the 3rd baseman's glove. 3rd baseman Dominic Triana, that's an error on the 3rd baseman.
Number 14, Caden Schwint.
That's the first error on either side.
Yeah, they've been playing really well today. I think as the grass starts to grow and, everything takes shape, the field starts to play a whole lot better than it does when it's in March. In March, it's a little bit choppy. Brings up Caden Schwint. Caden Schwint, first pitch, they throw an off-speed pitch to Caden, and he fouls it off to the batter's box for Brush. Carson Rule picks it up and throws it back to Jason Garcia. Caden is down on the count 0-1. Ivan Cardenas at first base. Caden Schwint, the batter. The pitch, outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Man, Garcia, he's effectively wild. 60 pitches, 30 balls, 30 strikes, but he's throwing a shutout.
He's given up 4 hits.
Right.
Cardenas takes off. Ball hit by Schwint to left center field, and it drops. Wow. I can't believe the center fielder allowed that to be able to drop. Caden Schwint gets a double to left center field. Well, I'll take that back. Caden Schwint gets a single to left field and moves up on the throw as they tried to throw out Ivan Cardenas at the plate. But Ivan was stealing on the play, and as the 2 outs, he just kept running. And by the time the ball landed, he was almost at 3rd base, and Coach Odell at 3rd base waved him on in. So that tied things up.
Rule.
I mean, a perfect hit and run. Perfect. And Ivan does have plenty of speed.
Ooh. Carson Rule, top of the order. 3rd time facing Garcia. First time he struck out, the last time he walked. But that puts Schwint at 2nd base with 2 outs, and the count is 1 ball, no strike to number 24, Carson Rule. Carson Rule hits the ball down the left field line, and Schwint rounds 3rd. Carson Rule goes to 2nd base for the double, and Caden Schwint scores. So Brush moves on to a 2-1 lead over Valley in the bottom of the 4th inning. We've got something going here, and now we've got number 2 hitter in the order, Braxton Shelton. He comes up with Carson Rule at 2nd base. Coach Kistler for Valley is going to come out, and he's going to talk to Jason Garcia. You said he was about, 64, 65 pitches?
Yeah, now he's at 63, 32 strikes, 31 balls. And let me tell you, that pitch, Kevin, to Carson Rule was not a bad pitch. He had to reach out and just guide it down the left field line. And even the one to Schwint, Caden, that was like a fly ball that landed perfectly in between the left and center fielder. It's not like those were 2 massive shots the B-Diggers hit, but they placed them perfectly, and that's what baseball's all about, finding the holes.
And the defense has to be on the money, and if they get a good jump, especially on that ball that was hit by Schwint, the center fielder is going to catch that. But he must not have seen that coming off the bat, and that ball dropped, and Brush scored a run and extended the inning here with Rule's hit. So it brings up Braxton Shelton. Braxton Shelton looks like he's setting up about the same spot that Hunter Ludgate was. Gets deep in the batter's box close, and Shelton hits the ball to third base.
Going to be a play at the plate.
As Shelton hits the ball past the third baseman for a base hit, I don't think Triana put glove on that. And Carson ended up coming around the bag at second and scores. The left fielder throws the ball to the plate, and as the ball came to the plate, it took one hop, and Carson was sliding as Kistler was receiving the ball, so they ended up scoring that to where Brush scored their third run of the inning. That brings up Nick Wellen.
Oh, it was Carson. My bad. I was still on the last play. All right. I hadn't scored the previous one. What am I doing, John? I should not correct Coach Fergus there. He was absolutely
That brings
right.
up Nick Wellen. 1-0 in the count. And Nick's been seeing the ball really, really good, hitting the ball really well, but he hits a towering fly ball to right center fielder, and the right fielder, Miles, gets underneath that and hauls that in.
All right, but the B-Diggers do plate 3 in the inning. And now they lead 3-1 going into the 5th. This is 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
Now to bat for the Valley Vikings.
I'm John Beltran with
Dominic
Kevin
Trauma.
Fergus. Nice job by Kevin over those previous 2 innings. In fact, when I was calling the innings, the B-Diggers weren't scoring, and now the B-Diggers have a 3-1 lead going into the 4th. And the pitch to Triana is down and away from Carson Rule. 1 ball and no strikes. You can follow us on Twitter at KSIR Sports. Triana struck out his first time up. Lefty against lefty the pitch, and that is a strike on the outside corner. And the count levels at 1-1. 5, 6, and 7 for Valley. The B-Diggers had back-to-back hits. Swung on, grounded right side, dive by Wooldridge. Shelton's got it. He's going to throw off his body, of his butt there to first, but late, and it'll be a base hit. And I'm not sure Wooldridge should have gone that far to his right. He had no chance to make that play, and he tried to get back to the bag, but nonetheless, Triana got down the line, and for Valley, that's only their second hit of the game. The first one coming in the first inning on a home run by Tyler Kistler.
And that ball wasn't hit that hard, but it was well placed just between the first base and second base. Brings up Jason Garcia,
who is 0 for 1. He flew to left his first time up. Short lead at first against the lefty. Carson Rule throw to first, and back in diving is Triana. So a nice inning for the B-Diggers with those hits from
Schwint, Rule, and Shelton.
Yep, back to back, and that is down and away off the glove of Ludgate. 1 ball and no strikes. First B-Digger run brought to you by Western Engineering Consultants. Engineering and consulting services for all of your projects. Get your project started the right way. Western Engineering Consultants. And the 1-0 pitch squaring to bunt way outside on the fastball. 2 balls and no strikes. Brandon Blanco is on deck. Valley scored their run in the first inning on a Tyler Kistler home run, and they were contained until now, at least in the hit column.
Carson Rule's been throwing a really good ball game. I mean, just to be able to give up that 1 hit to Kistler, and like we were talking on the pitch, I mean, it was a tough pitch to hit, and he was able to get the fat part of the bat onto the ball and was able to get it up in the wind, and the wind was able to carry it out.
And Garcia fouls the pitch straight back, squaring to bunt. Well, that's it. Like you said, a little bit of a wind-dated home run. You can see the flags there. They've got some activity out there. Short lead at first, throw to first. Yeah.
I look up at Dr. Weiser's, which is up on the hill towards Mill Street, and it's a distance away from here,
Yeah, but you can see it.
I think that's a little more indicative of the way the wind is blowing
It's
up in the upper levels.
Squaring to bunt. The pitch is low. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here to the number 2 hitter in this inning, Jason Garcia. Valley looking to inch closer, perhaps even get an equalizer here, down 3-1. The B-Diggers just scored their 3 runs in the 4th. And the offering squaring to bunt, and he went for it, and it's a strike. That would have been ball 4, but he waved at it on a pitch tailing away. And it's 3-2, and Carson Rule certainly got a break there. I don't think Triana will be taking off with nobody out, but there's a throw to first. And I'm not sure that Carson's worried too much about him because he keeps throwing over there. Carson has not walked a hitter yet, but he's one pitch away from doing so. 3-2 pitch, squaring to bunt, and he takes it high, and it's a walk to Jason Garcia. Yeah, I mean,
Now it's bad.
I think Carson threw over there too much. It's too short of a lead. You want to get the hitter, and he's giving you the out. Garcia was essentially sacrificing himself for the out, and now it's first and second with nobody out here in the fifth inning for Brandon Blanco, who struck out his first time up. Carson Rule does have 4 strikeouts. Check that. No, Blanco's in there. I think it was just a courtesy runner at first.
Courtesy runner at first for the pitcher, Jason Garcia, and that is Gio Mendoza, freshman for Valley. He'll be running at first base. Dominic Triana is the senior, and he's at second base.
Short for Giovanni, by the way. The stretch, squaring to bunt, and he misses it completely, 0-1. Just past the top of the hour, you are listening to 1010 KSIR, Brush, Fort Morgan, Snyder, as well as on the web at KSIR.com. Put us back on, please, right now. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the pitch. And he waved at it. Runner goes to third, but nobody's there. Ben Garrett was playing in, and the throw goes down the left field line. A run is going to score. And to third is Mendoza on the throwing error, and Valley draws to within 1. It's 3-2. Yeah, that was a significant mistake. Again, miscommunication. I'm sure Ludgate was expecting Garrett to be there at third base, and he was playing several steps in, and there was nobody there, so that will be a stolen base by Triana, and error on the catcher Ludgate, allowing Triana to score. And the pitch swung on and popped up foul, out of play off to the right.
I think Coach Kistler for Valley, he was just taking advantage of what Brush was giving him. And they were bringing Ben Garrett to where he's inching in, and shortstop Wellen is in also, and he wasn't covering the bag, and so that throw ended up going basically to an empty bag.
Swing and a miss on a fastball. Strikeout number 5 for Carson Rule as Brandon Blanco goes down swinging.
Number 4, Eli Knowles.
Here's Eli Knowles. He popped out to Wooldridge in foul territory, or near foul territory, his first time up. Runner at third and 1 down in the 5th inning.
That was the second strikeout for Brandon Blanco, the designated hitter for Valley.
Swung on in line towards left center field. Caden Schwinn comes on. He makes the catch. The runner's going to tag, but that throw's not going to be strong enough up the third base line. And scoring easily is Mendoza. The sac fly goes to Eli Knowles, and the game is tied at 3. And that'll send up Jesus Villalobos,
Number 3.
who grounded back to the mound. His first time up, so we got a brand new ball game. Deadlocked at 3.
I'm sure Carson would like to be able to get this batter out. 2 outs, number 9 hitter at the plate.
And he fouled that one back. It's no balls and 1 strike. Yeah, I was a little bit late getting here, so I left my winter jacket at home, but I knew that eventually I would suffer the consequences. The offering swung on and grounded up the middle over the glove of Carson Rule. The shortstop, Wellen's got it. Sets, fires to first low, but in time. And a nice play by Nick Wellen to end the top of the 5th inning. However, Valley has scored the equalizer. 2 runs on 1 hit. There was a beat digger error, and the bases were left empty. 4.5 complete with the score. Valley 3, Brush 3. This is 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Let's head to the bottom of the 5th inning. Ben Garrett takes it down and away against the right-hander Jason Garcia. Unofficially, pitch number 66. 1 ball and no strikes. Garrett is 0 for 2, and he swings and he lofts it foul down the left side. And that's not a pitch to swing at. That pitch was way down in and around the ankles. I think he had aspirations of trying to golf it out of here, but it was so inside that there's no way you're even keeping that fair. Yeah, Garrett in his first at bat grounded to short, and that hit into that 8-4 fielder's choice in his second plate appearance. And that is on the outside corner for a strike for the right-hander Garcia. 1 ball and 2 strikes. 4, 5, and 6 for the Bee Diggers in the bottom of the 5th inning. Deadlocked at 3. And the offering swung on, grounder to short. To his right is Perez. He sets. He throws a laser to first for the outs. And Ben Garrett not completely healthy after the injury against Yuma, not getting down that line like he'd like to. And there's out number 1. Here is Hondo.
Number 12.
A
Hondo.
walk and a fielder's choice.
Garcia.
Most recent at bat, that's 6-4 fielder's choice. Well, this could be another one going down to the wire, Kevin. We'll find out here. The pitch to Hondo, and he swings and hits it in the air into shallow right center field. A base hit over the outstretched glove of Izzy Gutierrez. Talk about a flare. And that is strength right there. You're strong enough to get it over the infielder's glove and head.
Yeah, he
Number
got the
10.
inside part of the ball, and he was just able to get enough muster on it in order to be able to get it up over the second baseman for the base hit.
7th hit for the Bee Diggers. Here is Bryson Wooldridge. He's had 2 very good plate appearances. A bunt single, then he hit that line drive that was caught in right, the offering. And that is taken for a ball on the off-speed pitch. Down in the zone, 1 ball and no strikes.
One thing I've been looking at, you ended up mentioning that this is going to be a close ball game. Valley's record is 3-2 on the season.
That is pop foul. Watch out, Coach Fergus. A little bit over your head. Yeah, no, I know. Oh. And it is out of play, but I got to tell you, the I don't know the Rule grandfather, his first name, but he didn't even budge. He did not budge at all. He just sat there. He knew that you knew that ball was not going to hit you.
It almost went into his cup.
Yeah, I know. He nearly caught it with 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on, tied at 3, bottom of the 5th inning. Off of first is Hondo, about a 2.5-step lead. Wooldridge awaits. And the pitch from Garcia. And he takes it up and away. Ball 2, strike 1.
Valley's record is 3-2, but on the season they scored 32 runs and they've given up 33 runs, and so basically they're playing everybody even Steven, pretty close.
Swung on and lifted to center field's got some carry to it way back, having room as Eli Knowles makes the catch. Back to first is Hondo, and there's 2 down. Colorado Plains Medical Center has experienced physicians and a highly trained surgical team trained in the latest surgical procedures.
Number 4, Hunter Ludgate.
That is Colorado Plains Medical Center. 2 down for Ludgate here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Hunter Ludgate is 0 for 1, a sac bunt, and he struck out on a 3-2 pitch. And that is inside, nearly clipped him on the left leg. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Valley with a run in the first and a Tyler Kisser home run. Then the Bee Diggers got sloppy there in the 5th inning with a key error and a couple of hits.
This is where we've got 2 outs, and ball right there goes to the fence, slips underneath Kistler, and Hondo's able to move up. I just was going to say that this is where Hondo gets to where he's aggressive on the base paths, and we get a short single, and you never know. I mean, he could end up coming around, especially with him being at second base now.
That's a pass ball on the catcher, Kistler. So as Kevin mentioned, a runner in scoring position. And the 2-0, and that is low. 3 balls and no strikes. Well, you know what? I know that Ludgate's back foot is nearly on the inside corner, but if he can get away with it, keep doing it. Keep doing it, because the umpire is the one who's got to determine what the batter's box is. That's a strike. It is 3-1. And you know what that says, too, that's his plate. That's not the pitcher's plate. Ludgate's saying, this is my plate. I'm taking ownership of this.
Once those white lines are
erased,
I mean, it's pretty hard in order to be able to tell.
3-1 pitch is lined in, dropped by the shortstop Perez, and then he throws to first, and that's going to be offline. Well, that's going to be scored in air. That should have been caught. It was right in the glove, and then a good throw would have had him.
Number 6, Ivan Cardenas.
So even though that ball was hit on a line, I'm definitely going to score that in air. It was right in his glove, and then he dropped it.
It looked like he had it, and then he thought that was the end of the inning, and he dropped it. And then he rushed his throw, and it sailed on the first baseman. The first baseman had to come off in order to try to be able to pick that up, but then he didn't have his foot on the bag.
And Ty Stotts is a tall guy who's got major wingspan, and will have a courtesy runner Now for the Bee Diggers at first base. And that'll be Kyle Wellen. First and third, 2 down, 2 on, 3-3. Brush and Valley in the bottom of the 5th inning. Here in Brush. And Yvonne steps in. And the pitch. And that is taken for a strike. No balls and 1 strike. So Valley's committed 2 errors now. The Bee Diggers have 1, which came in that earlier in this inning, in which Valley tallied 2 runs. Throw back to first, back in standing as the freshman Wellen. So a freshman at third, a freshman at first, a freshman inside the batter's box. And no balls and 1 strike to Yvonne. The stretch from Jason Garcia. And the pitch runner going to second. Swung on line, and that is a base hit into center field. Here comes Hondo. Wellen to third. The throw, the slide, the tag, and he's out. He is out at third base. But the Bee Diggers have taken the lead. I believe they called him out. Let's see now. It looked like he was called out by the home plate umpire.
The field umpire, he had a good look at it, and he's calling him safe. So those two are going to have to work it out as to where they're at. And
Wow.
They come out of there with the home plate umpire saying safe at third.
Well,
And Coach Kistler is going to come, and he's going to talk to him about it right now.
I
But
don't
I think
blame
he's
him.
going to be making a change because he's got his lineup card in his hand. But let's see what he ends up doing.
No, I don't think he's happy about that because clearly the home plate umpire saw it, but it's 2 different angles. It looked like the throw definitely beat him, but did the tag beat him? That's the other issue. Runners at the corners here. Nonetheless, even if he was out, it's still an RBI single from Ivan Cardenas. And the Bee Diggers have a 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning, but Coach Kistler wants an explanation. And I think it's the angle. I think the home plate umpire saw that the throw was on line. But
Number
again, it's the
14,
tag that matters,
Caden
not the throw.
Schwint.
Here's Caden Schwinn, struck out his first time up, but then had a base hit, an RBI single, with a runner going from first on a hit and run.
And that gives Brush the lead 4-3 over Valley.
And the pitch swung on and hit slowly on the ground towards the shortstop.
This will be a
Pettis.
tough play.
Yep,
Schmidt runs good.
Yep, and it's offline. It's a base hit. Now to third is Cardenas. The throw
Scott-
is not going to be made. And scoring is
Scott
Kyle
was
Wellen.
sleeping. He got the ball, was disgusted, and didn't look up. And Ivan Cardenas just kept on going to third base. And by the time he realized it, it was too late in order to be able to pull the trigger.
Well, that'll be scored. An infield hit and an RBI. Now the Bee Diggers lead 5-3, so they got the 2 runs back that they relinquished in the top of the 5th inning. And now let's see if we have a pitching change. Garcia's over the 80 pitch mark. And now Carson Rule's going to have that 2-run cushion, but maybe more. And again, a conversation on the hill. But the Bee Diggers have come through here after having their 3-1 lead slip away. 5 runs on 9 hits for Brush, 3 runs on 2 hits for Valley. The Bee Diggers have just 1 error. Valley has 2. Valley has not stranded a single base runner.
No, they've not. I just was noticing that. Brush has had 5 through the first 4 innings. And we'll see if we can get these runners in so we don't strand anybody. That'd be great.
Carson Rule struck out his first time, then walked and then doubled in a run.
Number 24, Carson Rule.
Steps in from the right side, that rare combination of a lefty thrower and a right-handed hitter. The stretch, and Garcia delivers. Swung on and a check swing and a catch by the shortstop.
Nice play.
Perez, he just leaped at the edge of the grass and he makes the catch. And that ends the inning on an excuse-me swing by Carson Rule. However, the Bee Diggers scored 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error, and 2 men left. Let's head to the 6th inning in Brush. It's the Bee Diggers 5, the Valley Vikings 3, a 1-minute break on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.
The plate.
Let's head to the 6th inning. Yeah, make that observation you were just telling me off air, Kevin, on that play at third where it was called out by the home plate umpire and safe by the field umpire, ended up being safe. That there's a distinctive difference. between baseball and softball umpires.
Yeah, we were just observing just between the innings, the two umpires come together just to see if they could talk that out, make sure that doesn't happen again. But in softball, that play at third base is the home plate umpire, and then the field umpire is going to have that play if it comes home. But the home plate umpire went to third, but the field umpire had the angle, and he didn't do that. I think he was doing the right mechanic in order to be able to take care of what he needed to.
Here's Servando Perez, who's popped out and struck out. Against Carson Rule, the pitch. That's a fastball for a strike on the inner half of the knees. It's 0-1. Keep in mind our broadcast schedule goes like this, and I'll go through it right now for the rest of the week. So take note of this broadcast schedule for the rest of the week. And the breaking ball swung on and missed. The Alamosa game on Friday, the baseball tournament here, 4 o'clock. We will not have that game on 10:10. We'll have Rockies and Dodgers, the home opener. Our next game will be Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Brush and Bayfield. Here's the wine and the 0-1. Swung on and lifted to right field. Coming on, still coming. Ivan Cardenas makes the running catch on the inside-out swing by Perez, who is 0 for 3. And there's one down here in the sixth inning.
Jacob Miles.
And then the Sterling game at 4:30 on Saturday. Brush and Sterling. That'll be a 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com. So keep in mind that we'll have one of the 3 games on 10:10. That'll be Saturday morning against Bayfield. The pitch swung on, line towards right center field. That's a whole lot of trouble. That ball's going to roll towards the fence. Around first into second is Jacob Miles with a one-out double in the 6th inning. The 3rd hit for Valley in the game, and Miles is now 1 for 3.
That was a nice hit by Jacob. The ball was on the outer half of the plate, and he just stroked it right where it was pitched, right center field.
That's the best recipe for hitting. Just go with a pitch. Here's Tyler Kistler. He homered, and then he flew to left center. Gave the second ball a pretty good ride, and as Kevin mentioned, he might have hit it as long as he did the home run, but it was hit more in the gap, and that pitch tails away. 1 ball and no strikes. Here to Tyler Kistler, 5-3 Brush, top of the 6th inning. 1 down, 1 on. And the offering swung on. That is laced into left center field for a base hit beyond the leaping Nick Wellen. Rounding third is Miles. He will score. And going to second is Tyler Kistler. It's an RBI double, his second extra base hit of the game, his second RBI. And Valley draws to within 1. It's 5-4. And that ball was smoked. And here comes Tom Odell.
Ty Kistler's a big, strong boy. And I was going to say, if Carson ends up staying on the outer half of the plate, what Ty has done in the past is he goes with the pitch just like what Jacob Miles did in the batter before. And if he stays on that outside half, he'll do that. But if that pitch is on that inner half, Ty gets his arms extended, and he can hit the ball country mile.
Yeah, I mean, and that one luckily was not hit a country mile, but it was shot out of a cannon.
I thought maybe Nick Wellen might have had a chance at that, but I think he'd have had to climb the ladder, probably maybe 2 ladders, just to be able to pull that in.
Well, and there was no topspin on that ball. It just went straight out there. It was a liner. Those liners have a little bit of topspin, and they drop a little bit early, but that thing was hit on the line. And here's Ty Stotts. Tying run is at second. Rule remains on the mound. The pitch swung on line, base hit into right field. Cardenas to his left. He might be able to hold the runner at third in Tyler Kistler, and he will. That was hit that hard, and Stotts is now 1 for 3 in the game. And all of a sudden, Kevin, Valley, which had 2 hits going into the inning, has got 3 in this frame, and they are hitting Carson Rule very hard.
Seems like they've got him measured at this point. And I think they realize that he's going to be around the plate, so I think they're coming up. They're being a little more aggressive on the first pitch, second pitch.
Number 1, Dominic Triana.
Well, and this is going to be a tough man to double up here in Triana. He struck out and singled first and third. 1 across for Valley in the 6th. They trail Brush 5-4. Lefty against lefty, the offering. And that is on the outside corner for a strike. Looked like a changeup. No balls and 1 strike. Yeah, I think Carson now knows he's got to mix it up here against Triana. Now they're going to sacrifice a run for an out. The infield plays back. And the offering. And that is outside. A little bit more heat on that pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike, unofficially a 77th pitch.
That was a nice pitch. It was close. I thought maybe Triana would offer at that. Triana's a good hitter. He was hitting 308 coming into today's game.
Yeah, and he's got a short stroke, which helps him. The offering swung on and fouled straight back. And now let's see if Carson Rule can come up with a money pitch, either a pop-up in the infield or a strikeout. Rule has struck out 4 in the game. Check it, 5 in the game, the stretch. And the 1-2 pitch swung on and lifted to center field to his right, and that's got some carry to it as Maltos Garcia. He reaches out, and he dropped the ball. It's off his glove, and scoring's going to be Kistler. That'll be a beat digger error, known as a sac fly with an error. And the game is tied at 5. That was a routine play, even though the ball was carrying, and he simply dropped the baseball.
Now to bat, number 15, Jason Garcia.
Yeah, it's still an RBI there. There's Jason Garcia, and Valley has come back from 2-run deficits twice in this game. A pop out and a walk for Garcia is 0 for 1. And now we'll have a courtesy runner at second for Stotts. And that is going to be Mendoza again. Giovanni Mendoza. And Kevin, we had a clean ball game for a while, but now both sides have committed 2 critical errors.
Yeah, you hate to see that. You like to see a clean ball game all the way through, but it is high school baseball. But it's one of those that you spend the time working on things. You don't want to see those errors pop up.
And the changeup is down and in. 1 ball and no strikes. Mendoza is at second. Triana at first. And the offering. And that's taken for a strike on the inside corner. Nice pitch there. Thrown by Carson Rule to Jason Garcia. Officially 0 for 1. And the count is at 1-1. Beat Diggers a double play depth. The pitch swung on and lifted foul. And out of play, Ludgate gives chase, but he runs out of room. Not too much foul territory. This is the antithesis of Major League Baseball in Oakland, where it seems you got about 80 feet of foul territory all over the place.
There was a year that Kearney Lansford ended up winning the American League batting title.
Oh, yeah.
And with as much foul territory as there was, I thought that was amazing just because you have that extra foul territory that if you foul ball out, it takes a bat out of your hands.
Pitches inside, runner to third on a hop, and it's a stolen base. It's a double steal as the ball is off the glove of Garrett, but Ludgate really had no chance. Great jumps there by both Mendoza and Triana. So second and third, and now Garcia has a chance to give Valley their second lead of the game. The infield's got to play in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 across here in the 6th inning. Roll out of the stretch with 2 runners in scoring position. And the pitch swung on and chopped to short. Welland looks at third, throws to first. The runners hold.
Nice play.
And Garcia is out. There's 2 down.
2 hopper to Nick. That was just right where you wanted it to, where he could get it. It was in his eyes. It's in his glove. He gets it over to first base. Take care of things. Looks like they're going to make a change on the mound.
Let's take a 1-minute break. There will be a pitching change. The Beat Diggers and Valley Vikings are tied at 5 in the top of the 6th inning. Back in 1 minute on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Braxton Shelton is the new pitcher. And that means we got a change there at second base, I believe. That's Hondo should be at second, and Carson Rule is in center. With 2 down, 2 on, 2 across. And the pitch is down and away. 1 ball and no strikes to the Valley hitter, Brandon Blanco, who struck out twice.
Brandon Blanco was hitting 176 coming into today's game.
And a fastball's a strike at the knees. It's 1-1. Yeah, so this is really a perfect hitter for Shelton to face. Braxton's got a nice active fastball and a good breaking ball.
It'd be good for Brush to be able to get out of here and give Valley the first 2 times that they have
rounded up
runners
the middle.
Stranded on the bag. Perfect.
Yep, the shortstop Welland makes the play to the right of the bag, and that ends the inning. However, Valley has tied the game. 2 runs on 3 hits, a Beat Digger error, and 2 men left. Let's head to the bottom of the 6th. It's Brush 5, Valley 5 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 2, 3, and 4 for the Beat Diggers as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Braxton Shelton will lead off against the left-hander Josiah Mudro. Braxton with a couple of base hits, drove in a run, also a fielder's choice. So now both teams have used left-handers. The Bee Diggers with their starting pitcher Carson Rule. And now Valley in relief with Josiah Mudro. And Kevin has hair, but he's pulling out the stocking cap, and I have no hair.
For the Bee Diggers, number 18, Braxton
But that's
Shelton.
fine. Mine was due to irresponsibility. So here's Shelton stepping in. The left-hander Mudro, 1-0 with a 0 ERA, but he's only thrown 3 2/3 innings. That looked like a changeup.
Doesn't look like he throws hard. It's just one of those that he's probably a lot like Carson Rule, probably around the zone.
1 ball, no strikes. Swung on and fouled off to the right. And account levels at 1-1 here to Braxton Shelton. Yeah, I mean, you could not have a better part of the order up right now. You know, to take the lead. The Bee Diggers trail 1-0, took a 3-1 lead after 4, tied at 3 after 4.5, 5-3 after 5, now 5-5. And the 1-1 pitch, and he swings and lifts it into shallow right center field. Should be a routine play. Yeah,
it's carrying
big time, and the ball goes over the head of the right fielder, Shelton to second, and he slides. He's in there. Boy, that was badly misjudged over there. That was wind-aided, but Shelton on a 1-1 pitch as his 3rd hit of the game. Jacob Miles thought he had a routine play. Judging by his body language, it should have been caught, but it went over his head.
21.
I think he probably looks and sees a 120-pound batter and probably doesn't think he can hit it out that far. And Braxton has pretty good power, pretty good pop in his bat.
And the pitch swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. Yeah, when you watch an outfielder basically jog towards the baseball, you figure, well, that's got to be an easy out, and yet it just kept flying. And again, that's badly misjudged because it's not like that was a liner. That was clearly a fly ball with plenty of trajectory. Wellen is 1 for 3.
This is exactly where Brush wants to be. You've got a runner at second, and you got your 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up.
And the fastball is upstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, and that's what Braxton will probably have an at-bat later on this season where he smokes one and is caught because that's a little bit of a gift double. The pitch, swing and a miss, pulled the string, and Wellen was way out in front. On a pitch at the knees, it's 1-2.
I think Nick was looking to try to get that onto Mr. Sidebottom's front porch out in left field.
Yeah, all he needs is just a grounder to get Shelton to third. Looking back is Mudro, and the offering swung on and fouled off the end of the bat. He's being fooled badly on these changeups. He's going to have to keep those hands back because he barely got a piece of that baseball.
Just looking at Mudro and how he's throwing, I mean, just looks like that's his bread and butter right there,
yeah.
Just being able to throw slow and then slower.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, Nick is a smart hitter. Let's see if he makes the adjustment. And he swings and grounds it to third. Triana's got it. He throws high to first, and it sails over the glove of the first baseman Garcia. Round third is Shelton to the plate. The slide. No slide, and he's in there. He scores standing up. There was going to be a plate at the plate, but nothing doing, and the Bee Diggers now lead 6-5 on another error by Valley. Into second is Nick Wellen. Well,
now to bat, number 15, Ben Garrett.
So the Bee Diggers up 6-5, but we've had sloppy baseball by Valley. There could have been easily 2 down in the inning. But the Bee Diggers will take it. Garrett is 0 for 3. And the pitch, and he swings and misses at a pitch diving down in the zone. It's 0-1.
So I have Valley for 3 errors. Is that what you have?
Valley has 3 errors, yeah.
And see, over the last 4 ball games that they've either had 3 or 4 errors in every single ball game.
Well, and the fly ball to right was not an error, but it certainly was a mental error, as Miles just didn't track it down when he had plenty of time.
I think that ball that was hit out to Hondo in left center field was basically the same type of thing where the ball just kept carrying, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like, oh no, I didn't go far enough in order to be able to get underneath the ball to pull it in.
Well, you want to get behind the ball, and two, as the game goes along, you should be able to read the wind conditions. It wasn't the first or second inning. The pitch was a ball, and now Garrett takes a fastball upstairs, 2-1. I mean, that's part of being a baseball player when you're playing defense, especially the outfield. As the game wears along, you read these weather conditions or wind conditions, and you adjust, and you don't let that ball get behind you. Runner goes to third, and that's taken. No, a bluffing there was Welland. I thought he was taken off. It's a hell of a bluff there. 3 balls and 1 strike.
I still look out to the American flag in Weiser's backyard out in right center field, and it's still pretty stiff to where that wind is holding that pretty steady. So I think anytime you get that ball up in the air today, you've got to consider that as part of what you're doing on defense.
Pitch is a strike to Ben Garrett. 3 balls and 2 strikes as Welland ties up a shoe. The Bay Diggers have a 6-5 lead. Shelton led off with a pop fly double. And then on a grounder hit by Welland, Triana, the third baseman, threw it away, allowing Shelton to score with no play at the plate. Garrett awaits the 3-2 pitch. And here it is. Now the runner was bluffing again, and it's a swing and a miss on a breaking ball, and there's 1 down. Garrett strikes out.
Now to bat.
Here is Hondo.
Alejandro Matos Garcia.
Hondo walked, hit into a fielder's choice, and had a base hit. He is 1 for 2. The Bay Diggers are out hitting Valley 10-5. And leading 6-5. And the offering up and in.
See if Hondo can get a base hit here, get an RBI.
Well, if you can sit back on that changeup, I mean, not that easy.
Hondo coming into today, he was hitting .538.
Big, strong freshman stepping off as Moudreau. He's got to watch out. Almost stumbled over himself there. The Bay Diggers scored 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 5th, 1 so far here in the 6th. Up by a run. Pitch to Matos Garcia is up and away. And the count moves to 2-0. And on deck is Bryson Wooldridge.
This is almost a situation where you've got the pitcher, he's not throwing hard. The batters need to realize that a good approach is to be able to take that ball, hit it the opposite direction.
And that pitch tails away. And that would have been a pitch that had Hondo swung at. A perfect one to go the other way. And there's tons of room out there. The center fielder.
He's shaded to left center.
Yep, Eli Knowles. There's a lot of room in right center. And that's upstairs, and Hondo walks. Bryson Wooldridge is 1 for 3 for Valley pitching.
Now to bat. Number 10, Bryson Wooldridge.
That's their 3rd walk. Garcia had 2. Close the book on Garcia. No longer the pitcher of record. 5 innings. Allowed 5 runs. None earned. And the pitch. That's a strike with a changeup at the knees to Wooldridge.
That's amazing that he comes back, throws a strike to Wooldridge. That's a second 4-pitch walk that Matos Garcia has had today.
And the 0-1 to Bryson. That's a strike on a tailing changeup on the outside corner. 3 strikeouts, 9 hits allowed by Garcia. Did walk 2. No balls and 2 strikes for the left-hander Moudreau. The stretch, Welland at second, Matos Garcia at first. And the pitch, swing and a miss. Got him on a changeup, struck him out on 3 pitches. Second strikeout of the inning for Josiah Moudreau. Here's Hunter Ludgate, who's 0 for 2. Does have a sac bunt in there. Struck out and reached on an error.
Now to bat. Number 4, Hunter Ludgate.
Here is the stretch. And the offering. And that's low and away. And now a delayed steal by Welland. And the ball is off the glove of Triana, but not far enough for Welland to advance to home. It's a stolen base. And on the back end, Matos Garcia went to second, so 2 in scoring position.
It was almost a delayed steal.
Oh, it was. It was a delayed steal. There's no doubt about that. Out of the stretch.
This is
with a
where
1-0
Brush
count.
needs to put that lighted match on this gasoline where you got runners at second and third and get these two guys in.
And that's a strike with a changeup on the outer half. It's 1-1. The Bee Diggers do not have an earned run today. 6 unearned runs scored by Brush. And even though they've had some hits, a lot of them came after errors, which is why they've earned the runs, but not earned runs against these pitchers. And the 1-1 offering. Swung on and fisted foul. Back to the screen. It's 1-2. And that's where, with Ludgate on top of the plate, if you jam him, he really has to open up on the inside pitch. Because there, he didn't open up fast enough. And it's hard to time that out against a guy throwing changeups. 1-2 strikes. The offering. Swung on and grounded foul down the third base side. Count remains at 1-2. John Beltran with Kevin Fergus. Good ball game here. In Brush, the Bee Diggers with a 6-5 lead. It's been tied on 2 occasions. But Brush has come back from a 3-3 tie for a 5-3 lead, a 5-5 deadlock, now lead by 1. 1-2 to Ludgate. Swung
There
on
we go.
in line towards center field. That's going to drop for a base hit off the end of the bat. 1 run scores. Matos Garcia around third. The throw, the slide, and he's out at the plate.
Got one
Boy,
run in.
A perfect throw by Eli Knowles as the tag was applied by Tyler Kissler, but it is an RBI single for Hunter Ludgate. The Bee Diggers pick up 2 runs as we go to the 7th. Brush 7, Valley 5 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Let's head to the 7th. The Bee Diggers lead the Valley Vikings by a score of 7-5. Braxton Shelton is now the pitcher of record for Brush.
Now to bat for the Valley Vikings. Number
He
4,
got the
Eli Knowles.
final out at the top of the 6th inning. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Eli Knowles, Jesus Villalobos, and Servando Perez against the freshman right-hander. I believe this would be his first varsity win on the hill. And the pitch. Fastball is a strike at the knees. Knowles popped to left. Or check that. Popped to first and a sacrifice fly to left. He is 0 for 1. And the 0-1 offering. And the breaking ball is over but low. Count levels at 1 ball and 1 strike. This was a 1-0 game all the way to the bottom of the 4th inning. Both teams have scored in every half inning since then. The pitch swung on and fouled off to the right. Ball 1, strike 2 to the right-handed hitting center fielder Eli Knowles.
This is the 2nd inning in a row that the guy that made the play to end the inning leads off.
That's right.
Servando, the inning before, made a nice stab at the ball in short left field.
And Valley
as
was
a
able to-
shortstop, and then he came up, led off the next inning.
Yep, and it was able to generate a rally. 1-2 pitch. Swung on and chopped slowly. Left side, the third baseman, Garrett, charges, throws on the run, and in time, an excellent play by the junior. As retired is Eli Knowles, and there's 1 down in the 7th.
And Eli Knowles, he had made a nice play of charging that ball that was hit off of Hunter Ludgate's bat. Picked it up and was able to put everything behind it in order to get it to the plate, in order to cut down that second runner, Maltos Garcia, at the plate.
Here's Jesus Villalobos, who grounded out twice to the mound and to short. The number 9 hitter, the pitch. Fastball is low. The Bee Diggers are 2 outs away from their 4th win of the season. They would drop Valley to 3-3. And the offering. That's a strike with a fastball down the middle just above the knees. And the count evens at 1-1.
I like what Braxton does on that mound.
Oh, he goes right after the
He has moxie, and he's aggressive.
Swung on and dribbled foul behind the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Goes right after the hitter, and don't be surprised if he might try to pull the hook here and freeze Villalobos on a 1-2 pitch. Now
He said he throws a knuckle curve.
He's thrown one before. Yeah, I don't know how much he's used it at
Okay.
this level, but he's thrown one before. But we'll find out. Don't want to give too much away. We'll see what he delivers. 1-2 pitch. Fastball called. Strike 3 at the knees. And going down is Jesus Villalobos. 2 down here in the 7th. Here's Servando Perez, who popped out, struck out,
Now to bat number
and
14,
flew out again. He's 0 for
Servando
3.
Perez.
And for Bee Digger pitching, that is strikeout number 6. Carson Rule had 5. The wine and the offering. Fastball is just off the outside corner. 1 ball and no strikes. Braxton Shelton, the freshman right-hander, comes home. Swing and a miss on a ball down and in, and the count levels at 1-1. Bettis, 4th time at the plate. And the 1-1. And he swings and misses at a fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, I don't think he's thrown a breaking ball this inning. He might just go after him with a heat. Yeah, 1 breaking ball actually he threw. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 down, the bases empty. Here's the wine and offering. Swing and a miss and a fastball below the knees. And Shelton with a 1-2-3 7th. And the Bee Diggers win the game over the Valley Vikings in Brush 7-5. It's a 2-minute break. We'll wrap it up after this. Brush 7, Valley 5 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Bee Digger post-game show is brought to you by Mr. D's Ace Home Center, a proud supporter of all the area athletes. They'll serve you with all your home, farm, and ranch supplies with 3 locations to serve you: Sterling, Brush, and Fort Morgan. Mr. D's Ace Home Center. John Beltran with Kevin Fergus. The Bee Diggers win the game 7-5 over the Valley Vikings. 7 runs, 11 hits for Brush. They did commit a couple of miscues. 9 left on base for the Bee Diggers. 5 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors, 2 left on base for Valley. The winning pitcher in relief was Braxton Shelton. The loss went to Josiah Moudreau. Time of the game, 1 hour and 43 minutes. And Valley got on the board first on a home run with 2 down in the first inning, obviously from Tyler Kistler. Then the Bee Diggers had opportunities there, especially in the second inning. It took them a while, but they would finally break through in the bottom of the 4th inning, tying the game on a Caden Schwinn single, which scored Ivan Cardenas from first as he was running on the play. Carson Rule had an RBI double. Braxton Shelton with a run-scoring single, making it 3-1, but Valley came right back in the top of the 5th inning. Dominic Triana would score on a Bee Digger error. Eli Knowles with a sac fly tied the game at 3, but Brush came back with 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Ivan with an RBI single. Caden Schwint had a run-scoring single as well. It was 5-3. Valley came back as Tyler Kistler had a run-scoring double. And then Dominic Triana hit a fly ball that was dropped in center. A run scored. It was 5-5. Still a sac fly anyway. It would have been a run anyway had the ball been caught. And then, really, the Bee Diggers were kind of given a run in the bottom of the 6th inning. Braxton Shelton hit a fly ball to right that Jacob Miles looked like he had a beat on it. And by the time that ball was descending, it went over his head, and it landed for a double. Nick Wetland hit a routine grounder to third, and Dominic Triana, the third baseman, threw it away. That allowed Shelton to score, making it 6-5. The Bee Diggers, though, with 2 down, would get a base hit from Hunter Ludgate, scoring a run and making it 7-5. And then Braxton Shelton closed the door, striking out 2 and retiring the side in order in the top of the 7th inning as the Bee Diggers won the game 4-2. But as I mentioned there, Carson Rule did a nice job on the hill, but lots of contributions from some freshmen there, Kevin, in getting this win.
The freshmen for Brush, they're a talented group to begin with, and they're getting valuable experience. And here they are. They played 6 ball games. They're 4-2. And I don't think the freshmen have hurt Brush to this point.
No.
They're just getting valuable experience, getting confidence, and all that's going to do is just help them not only from here on out through the rest of the season, but throughout their whole high school career.
And as you mentioned, Caden Schwint needed some confidence today, and he came through with a couple of base hits. That really helped him out of the 9-hole. So he comes through, Hondo comes through, and, of course, Braxton Shelton came through, and those are just 3 of the freshmen, Yvonne as well. So they had lots of contributions across the board as the Bee Diggers won this game. Now, keep in mind, again, we'll run through the broadcast schedule because we get questions about this, and we get the same questions even though we run through it a couple of times. On Friday, we will not have the Brush Alamosa game at 4 o'clock. We'll have the Rockies and Dodgers and the Rockies home opener. We will have the Saturday morning game against Bayfield. Kevin will be back with me Saturday morning. Brush and Bayfield, that'll be a 9 o'clock start right here on 1010, as well as KSIR.com. And then Chris Bull-Brahm will have the call on 105.7 KPMX and KPMX.com of the 4:30 game, scheduled for 4:30 on Saturday when Brush plays Sterling in the final game of that tournament involving Sterling, Brush, Alamosa, and Bayfield.
And this is nice with CHSAA expanding the number of games that they can play to 23. It just gives you 4 more games to be able to play. And in order to be able to fill it, what Brush did was be able to get these 2 teams coming in from Alamosa and Bayfield and Sterling. And they're here this year. Next year, Brush will end up going to Alamosa. And they'll play basically the same type of schedule down in Alamosa against Bayfield. And Sterling will also be the travel partner and go with them.
Well, the beauty of these tournaments like Fort Morgan had last week in La Junta and Brush has this weekend at home is that it's more emblematic of what you will see in postseason play, especially if you make the state tournament where you got to play all these games over a short period of time. Because during the regular season, you don't play 3 games in 2 days unless you're in a tournament format, which is what you do if you're in the state tournament, if any one of these teams can get that far. So it's nice to have that experience at least for one weekend during the regular season, since the rest of the games are spread out on the schedule.
Absolutely. And what you want to do with that, you want to just see where you are with your pitching. Because if you are in the state tournament, you need to be able to have pitching and deep pitching in order to be able to go far.
Yeah.
And, last weekend where you were down at La Junta watching Fort Morgan broadcasting, that was a legit tournament. This year is more of a round robin where each team plays one another once. Alamosa and Bayfield, they absolutely wanted to come up here in order to play Brush, Sterling, anybody in the Patriot League, because what that does is that helps them with RPI. And with RPI, that's huge as to getting a good schedule. And when you have a good strength of schedule, which Patriot League does every single year, it just benefit to anybody that plays Brush, plays anybody in the Patriot League, because it's gonna elevate your score for postseason.
Well, 5 teams in the top 10: University, Sterling, Eaton, Platte Valley, I believe was as high as 4th or 5th, and Resurrection Christian and Brush is barely outside the top 10. So, as Kevin said, it certainly does help the RPI. All right, our next broadcast will be on Saturday morning when the Bead Diggers take on the Bayfield Wolverines. It'll be 9 o'clock right here on 1010 as well as KSIR.com. Our sound engineer and producer, Herrick Curtis, got us started, but Alicia Alton did an excellent job here throughout this broadcast. For Kevin Fergus, I'm John Beltran. The final score from Sunset Baseball Field and Brush: the Bead Diggers 7, the Valley Vikings 5. All right here on your home of the Brush Bead Diggers, 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com.